Hello everyone, my name is Vivin Abram and today's video we're going to do some numericals that are based upon chapter number 1 of class 12th physics, that is electric charges and field. This is the second video of the numerical series. The link of the first video will be there in the description. You guys can go watch that too. So this is the video of important numericals on electric field and charges part 2. So let's get started. So the first numerical is that there is a bob of a simple pendulum that has mass 2 gram and a charge of 5 microcoulomb. Right, it is at rest in a uniform horizontal electric field of intensity 2000 volts per meter. Okay, great. At equilibrium, the angle that pendulum makes with the vertical is, now the angle that it makes with the vertical, that is something which you have to find out. Take the value of g. So we have option tan inverse 0.2, tan inverse 0.5, tan inverse 2.0, tan inverse 5.0. Okay, so let's try to do this. So let's go according to the question. So we have a simple pendulum which is like with whose bob is of mass 2 gram and a charge of 5 microcoulomb. Okay, it is at rest in a uniform horizontal electric field of intensity 2000 volt per meter. So let me first very quickly make the electric field lines. All right, so these are your electric field lines. So I have the horizontal field lines. I actually know the value of the field line this time, right? So value electric field, the magnitude of electric field is given 2000 volt per meter, right? So that is given in the question. You guys can see over here, right? So basically we will be having a pendulum. So I have to make a, so let's say this is a fixed place where, and this is the mean position of the pendulum, but anyway it has some angle of inclination because we are supposed to find out this value theta, right? So now the question says that it is at equilibrium at this position. So this position, at this position it is at equilibrium. That means the bob is not moving there, right? So basically the question is saying that okay, it is of 2 gram and 5 microcoulomb charge is there. Okay, let me write that. This bob has a mass of, so I'll write the bob has a mass of 2 gram and charge of 5 microcoulomb. 5 microcoulomb means 5 into 10 to the power minus 6 coulomb, right? Great. So at equilibrium the angle, okay, so basically let's say that this bob is at equilibrium, right? So that means all the forces that are acting on the bob will be equal, right? All right, so let's talk about what are the forces that are acting on the bob. First of all, mg is the force that is acting first. Second, as you guys can see, it has some charge, right? And this charge is placed inside some electric field, so obviously there will be an electric force, or I can say force because of electric field, and that will be q times of E, which will be in that direction. I hope you guys can understand. Great. Then because of the strength there will be a tension then, right? And the tension will have, obviously this angle is also theta, the tension will have components. This will be t cos theta and one component will be here, that will be t sin theta, right? So I can write it, I can actually draw the free body diagram. mg is in the downward direction, t cos theta in the upward direction, qe in, you know, in this direction, and this is t sin theta which will be in that direction, right? So I hope you guys can understand. So obviously they are in equilibrium. That means t cos theta will be equal to mg. That is my first equation. Second equation will be t sin theta, that will be equal to q times of E. That is my second equation, right? So I got my two equation. All I'm supposed to find out is the value of theta. Now how I can do that? Yes, divide equation 2 by 1. So equation 2 is divided by equation 1. We will get t sin theta divided by t cos theta, and this will be qe upon mg. So t and t will cancel out. Sin theta upon cos theta is actually tan theta, and tan theta is equals to qe upon mg. All I have to do is put the value. The charge is having 5 into 10 to the minus 6 coulomb multiplied by electric field is 2 into 10 to the power 3 volt per meter, right? So that is understandable. Mass is 0. So mass is 2 gram, I guess, right? Mass is 2 gram. So that can be written as 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 kgs, right? This is kg multiplied by gravitational force meter per second square, that is 10 meter per second square. I assume that, right? Okay, great. So I'll just solve this. So I'm actually solving it over here. You will get 10 divided by 20 into 10 to the power minus 6 plus 3 divided by 10 to the power minus 3, right? Is that a yes or no? And that is equals to tan of theta. I hope you guys can understand that, right? Okay, great. So this will cancel out. You will get tan theta is equals to 10 upon 20, or I can say tan theta is equals to half, or I can write theta is equals to tan inverse 1 by 2. I hope that is understandable. Tan inverse 1 by 2, that is 0.5. So I got my answer. Yes, option number B, tan inverse 0.5. I hope that is understandable, right? Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, next one, this is JEE Mains 2017, important question. JEE Mains, it came in JEE Mains 2017. Okay, let's read the question. An electric dipole has a fixed dipole moment P, okay, which makes angle theta with respect to x-axis. Great. When subjected to an electric field, E1 is equals to EI cap. That means the electric field is an x-axis, right? It is in x-axis. I hope you guys can see that. It experiences a torque tau 1 is equals to minus tau k cap. Okay, the torque is in z-axis, actually negative z-axis, right? I hope you guys can see that. When subjected to another electric field, E2 is equals to root of E1 j cap. Okay, now this electric field is in your y-axis. Okay, great. It experiences a torque tau 2 is equal to tau times of k. That means in the opposite direction, so that is fine. You have to find the angle theta. Okay, the angle theta, which I have to find out the value of angle theta. Okay, let's try to do this. How we are going to do this? So let's go one by one. So I have an electric dipole, has a fixed dipole moment P, which makes an angle theta with respect to x-axis, and along the x-axis we have the electric field, right? Okay, so let me just make that. So I will be having a dipole that, let me say, this is minus q, this is plus q. So here is my dipole. So this dipole will be having dipole moment in that direction, right? I hope you guys can understand that. And this is making an angle of theta with your x-axis according to our question, right? Okay, great. When subjected to an electric field, that is E1 is equals to EI cap. So we have an electric field, so I'm actually subjecting it to an electric field. Let's say this is my electric field. So I have electric field in that direction, right? And let's say E1 is equals to EI cap, right? I hope that is understandable. Great. It experiences a torque. Obviously you guys can see this is the direction of dipole moment, this is the direction of electric field, and the angle between them is theta. So obviously the torque is actually given as P cross E. Obviously I have to use the right hand thumb rule, right? From P to E, so what you guys can see, from P to E, when I move my fingers, P to E, you guys can see the direction of torque is inside the board, that is towards minus z axis, right? So I can see if this is my y axis, this is my x axis, then the minus z axis will be in the backward direction, and the direction that comes out will be your positive z axis, that is your k cap, right? So I can understand the value of tau to be, tau 1 is actually coming out to be minus tau k cap. Okay, great. Tau 1 value is coming out to minus tau k cap. That is understandable. Okay, great. Now what is the next question? When subjected to another electric field, that is E2 is equals to, okay, now this electric field is in this opposite, is in y direction, actually something like this. So I have one more electric field, and this E2 is actually having the magnitude root of 3 times of E j cap. Okay, great. So I have both the electric fields. One is along the x-axis, another one is along the y-axis, right? I hope that is understandable. So at that time, okay, you guys can see here, this is my P and this will be my electric field, right? So again, you guys can see from P to E. So when I do from P to E, the direction of thumb gives me direction of torque, right? So obviously torque will be along the k cap, that is positive k cap. Okay, all these things are understandable. I'm supposed to find out the value of theta. Now how I'm supposed to do that? Now this is interesting. Now what I'm going to do, I can see very clearly that your electric field, you have to understand here, I know I will simply use the torque formula. Torque is given as P cross of E. Is that a yes or no? Torque is given as P cross E. Now you have to understand your P has two components. What are the two components? P along X, right? P along X, let me call it Px, and P along Y. Very similarly, electric field also has two components, that is E along X and E along Y. Is that understandable? E along X is E I cap and E along Y is root 3 E j cap, right? Now that is given in the question. I hope you guys can see that, right? Great. Now let's talk about tau also, right? So for tau, for both the components it is given. For one component the value of tau is coming out to be tau times of k cap. Another one it is minus, minus tau times of k cap, right? So I can write it here. The net tau or the net torque can be easily given as, net torque is actually easily given as tau k cap minus tau k cap. Can you guys see that? That is a net tau. The first tau was along inside the board, the second tau was coming out of their equal and opposite, so I can actually easily add them, right? Is equal to, you guys can see, this is Px I cap plus Py j cap cross of, you have electric field two components, that is E I cap plus root 3 E j cap. All I have to do is do the cross product, right? So when I do the cross product, I'll get, here you guys can see I cap j cap k cap. So when I do the cross product, I'll get, here I'll get Px, here it is Py, there is no P along the direction of Z, so it will be 0. Very similarly E, this is root 3E and this is 0, right? So when I do the cross, but that is when I do P cross E here, you'll get the answer as P cross E as, you guys can see this is I cap, so this is Py multiplied by 0. So you guys can see here how I'm doing it, this and this, Px into 0 minus root 3 E into 0. I hope you guys can see that. This is minus root 3 E into 0, right? Minus of j cap, you guys can see j cap, this and this is, you just hid. So Px multiplied by 0 minus E multiplied by 0. That's how you're going to do it, right? So this is j cap. So this is Px multiplied by 0 minus E multiplied by 0. Great. Then we are left with k cap. So how we are going to do? So k cap and I cap, j cap, k cap has been, you just shut that down. Then Px multiplied by root 3E minus E multiplied by Py, right? So I can just write it down. This is Px multiplied by root 3E minus E multiplied by Py. I hope that is understandable, right? So obviously the value of P cross E comes out to be k cap Px multiplied by root 3E minus E multiplied by P of Y, right? I hope that is understandable. Is that a yes or no? Great. Now that equals to actually 0, because your torque is equal and opposite. The net torque is actually equal to 0, right? So that means this is actually equal to 0, or I can write it here. I can write it here that your k cap has 0 value, or I can compare px root 3e minus e into py is actually equal to 0, or I can write it px times of root 3 is equals to e times of py. Your e and e's are cancel out, or I can say root 3 is equals to py upon px. Can you guys see that? Root 3 is equals to py upon px, right? So very nicely you guys can see this was your dipole. Let's say minus q, this was plus q, and this was giving me an angle of theta with the x-axis. So I can very nicely say it has one component along x, which we call it, this was your p vector, this will call it px, and one component along py, right? So if I want to find out the value of theta, I can say I can make a triangle. This py can be shifted here. I can say it is py. So tell me, tan theta will be equal to py upon px, that is perpendicular upon base. I hope you guys can understand that. Can I write it for this triangle as tan theta is equals to py upon px? This is py upon px. I hope you guys can understand that. Yes, okay, so I can write it. So this is py upon px, so that is equals to tan theta also, or I can say tan theta is equals to root 3. Yes, so your theta is equals to tan inverse root 3. Is that a yes or no? Tan inverse root 3. Okay, so for what value of theta tan has root 3 value? Just tell me. Just take some seconds and just try to figure out for what value of theta tan will be having value of root 3. I hope a lot of you might have got the answer, and answer is actually 60 degree. Is that a yes or no? For 60 degree tan has the value of root 3, right? So the answer is, you guys can see here, answer is 60 degree, that is option number 1. I hope that is understandable, right? Alright, so let's move on to the next question. Next question says, in a uniformly charged spherical shell of total charge q and radius r, the electric field E is plotted as the function of distance from the center. Great. The graph which would correspond to the above will be. So you have 4 graphs here. So it is actually charged spherical shell. If you guys remember, for a charged spherical shell, we have actually find out electric field at different places. So one thing is sure, inside the electric field, that inside the radius r, electric field was 0, right? On the surface, electric field was coming out to be E is equals to kq upon capital R, right? And as we move along, it was E is equals to kq upon R, right? R square. So square, I forgot the square, R square. As we move along, it was kq upon R square. Is that a yes or no? So I think we have done this one. So which figure do you think will follow? See, in this one you guys can see inside the radius R, the value of electric field is increasing. So this is wrong. It is not increasing. Again, for this figure also, inside the radius R, the value of electric field is increasing, which is wrong. Okay, here as you guys can see for C figure, the value of electric field is decreasing, which is again wrong. But in the D one, you guys can see the value of electric field is 0. The value of electric field is 0. So I think D is the correct answer. So I hope you guys can understand D1 is the correct answer. You guys can see inside it is 0. At the surface you will get E is equals to kq upon R square, and here it is reducing by the factor of 1 upon R square. So this is the correct one. D is the correct option. I hope you guys can understand that, right? Great. Let's move to the next question. Okay, great. This question is EIEEE 2010. Okay, let's try to do this one. A thin semicircular ring of radius r has a positive charge q, okay, distributed uniformly over it. Okay, the net electric field E at the center O is. At the center O, I'm supposed to find out the electric field. So according to the question, you have given it a q charge, and this q charge is being distributed uniformly. This charge is distributed uniformly over the surface. I'm supposed to find out the net electric field E at the center O. Okay, and you have given 4 options. Out of 4, you have to find out the answer. Okay, so how we are going to do this one? Okay, so here, in order to answer this question, you need to do a trick here. Now what is the trick? At the center, we are supposed to find out the electric field. So what I will do, I will assume a dl length. I'll assume a dl length here. So this dl length will be having some dq charge, right? So this dl length will be having some dq charge. I'll assume that, and let's say this is making some angle theta with the horizontal, right? Great. So you guys can see over here, so because of this dq charge, if I want to find out electric field at the center, what I will do, the first step is, at the center I'm going to bring a positive test charge. Is that a yes or no? So I brought a positive test charge at the center O, right? So because of this dq charge, just like placed at, let's say this is some point P, it is placed at point P on the surface of that semicircular ring, right? So because of that P point, obviously the electric field will be in that direction. Let me call the electric field DE, a small electric field. Again, this will also have the same theta value, yes or no? So if that is true, your DE will have 2 components. This is DE cos of theta, and this will be DE sine of theta. Is that a yes or no? Right? Great. I hope you guys can understand. Very similarly, I can assume one more dl length here. Yes or no? I can assume it like that. Let's say this also make an angle of theta degree from the horizontal in the opposite direction. Okay, great. So this dl will be having again dq charge, right? So if that is true, again, because of the test charge, it will experience a DE in that direction, and again this angle will be theta. That means DE will always also have 2 components, DE cos theta, and again DE sine theta is again in the same direction, right? So one thing, and you can do it for each and every part of the semicircle. I'll do that. So one thing is very clear, for every this angle, there will be another that angle, right? So one thing is clear, that your DE cos thetas will cancel out, because DE cos thetas are equal and opposite. So I can very clearly see it from the diagram that DE cos thetas are going to be cancelled out. Only thing that is left to find out is your DE sine. The DE sine thetas are something that they are going to be add up. DE sine thetas are going to be adding up, right? So one thing I got, that I have to do an integration of DE sine theta. Now this is something which I know here, right? I have to do the integration of DE sine theta. Now how I'm supposed to do that? Now this is a long process, it will take some time, so embrace yourself. Okay, so DE sine theta, I have to integrate that. Now how I'm going to integrate that? First of all, I have to figure out what is your dq charge, how much is your dq charge. Now that is something which I have to figure out. So let's try to figure out. So I have to again introduce a term, that is lambda. Lambda is your charge per unit length, right? I'll introduce charge per unit length. So I'll say for unit length, how much charge it has? Lambda. So if unit length has lambda charge, then I can say dl length will have dl times of lambda charge. I hope that is understood. So dq will be having dl times of lambda charge. I hope that is understandable. Is that a yes or no? Okay, great. So if that is true, now what is your lambda? Lambda is charge per unit length, right? So I can write it dq is equals to dl multiplied by what is the charge, the net charge. What is the net charge? Net charge is actually q, that is given to the semicircle divided by the whole length. The whole length, it's actually a semicircle, right? So if it was a circle, it was 2 pi r. Semicircle means 2 pi r divided by 2, or I can say pi r. I hope you guys can understand. Now again, I have to talk about dl length also. So let's take this dl here, right? So I'll just draw it here. So it's actually very small. This dl length is very small, right? So I can say a very small d theta angle is also there, right? And obviously this is your radius, so I know that theta is equals to arc upon length. So I can write theta is equals to arc is your dl, length is r. So can I write it dl is equals to r d theta? I hope you guys can understand that. Yes. Okay, so if that is true, I'll just write in the place of dl, I'll write dq is equals to, yes, this will be r d theta. This is r d theta multiplied by q times of pi r. R and r will cancel out, or you can write it d theta, sorry, dq is equals to d theta multiplied by q upon pi. So I got the value of dq, right? So this is very important. This is equation number 1. Great. Now the main thing that I was supposed to do was integration over your electric field, right? And that was equals to integration dE sine of theta, right? So dE was the small electric field because of your dl length that has dq charge, right? Okay, now from where to where I should integrate? So you guys can see this was the center, and this was your dl length, this was your d theta, and this dl length had dq charge, and this distance was your r. So I can find the value of d. D can be simply written as, yes, this will be k dq is the charge divided by r square. So I know the value of d. Now I have to figure out from where to where I should integrate it. Can you guys see it? I have to actually integrate it from 0 to pi. Actually the angle is from 0 to pi I have to integrate it. Can you guys see that? From 0 to pi I have to integrate it. See, for if it was a full circle, then it will be 0 to 360, right? But it's a half circle, so I can say 0 to pi I have to integrate the angle, right? So I can very nicely write it, your dE integration will from 0 to pi, this is 0 to pi, and this is dE sine of theta, or I can write it integration 0 to pi, this will be net electric field which is at the center, right? So dE is actually k, I'm writing it over here, k dq upon r square. Okay, and this is your sine theta. I know the value of dq. The value of dq is also given here, that is d theta into q times of pi. Okay, great. So I'll just write it, E is equals to 0 to pi k upon r square into d theta, then multiplied by q upon pi, and this is sine of theta. So you guys can see your k is a constant term, q is a constant term, pi is a constant term, r square is a constant term, so they will come out of your integration. So you'll be left with, yes, k q upon r square pi will be left with sine theta d theta, this is 0 to pi. Now integration of sine theta d theta is actually minus of cos theta. For all those who do not know, sine theta d theta, integration of sine theta d theta is actually minus cos theta, right? So E is equals to k q upon r square pi, integration will be minus of cos theta, limits are given 0 to pi, right? Great. So E will be equals to k q upon r square pi, this is minus of cos pi plus cos of 0, right? Great. Upper limit minus the lower limit, you will get E is equals to k q upon r square pi. Okay, what is the value of cos pi? Cos pi has the value of minus 1, so this will be plus 1 plus, and cos 0 is also 1. So you will get electric field is equals to 2 k q upon r square pi. I hope that is understandable. Put the value of k. The value of k is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So this is 2q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square pi. Or nicely we will write E is equals to 2q upon 4 pi square epsilon naught r square, right? So this is the value of electric field. Now what's the direction here? You guys can see here, direction is actually in the downward direction, or I can say minus j cap. Minus j cap is the direction, yes or no? So can I write it like this here? E is equals to 2q upon 4 pi square epsilon naught r square minus of j cap. So is this a part of option? Let's see. Yes, you guys can see. Okay, so I can actually cancel this 2 also, so we'll get E is equals to q minus of 2 pi square epsilon naught r square j cap, q 2 pi square epsilon naught r square, okay, j cap minus. Okay, you guys can see this is the option number D is the correct answer. I hope you guys can understand that, right? Is that a yes or no? Great. I hope you understood the video. If you have any doubt, you can comment it down in the comment section. So that's all for today's video. Thank you and have a nice day.